Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss the ILD for vertical members. In the previous video I did discuss ILD for horizontal members. Now let us go through the ILD for vertical members. Now it is a truss which is a bridge truss, N type of truss, and it has got 6 panels. Each panel is having a length small l. So total span of the bridge truss is 6l. Let the height of this truss is small h. The top chord panel points are U0, U1, U2, U3, U4 and so on. The bottom chord panel points are L0, L1 and so on. Let it be a through type of truss. And you know that in case of through type of truss, the load moves along the bottom chord line. So the load positions are going to be L0, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 and so on. So load is taking these positions along the bottom chord line. Now when you want to draw the ILD for vertical members, first draw the ILD for reactions at supports. So I have shown the ILD for reactions at supports. This first ILD is for RA. It is the ILD for RA, that is reaction at the left support. And we know how to draw the ILD for RA. Mark 1 at A, mark 0 at B and just join these 2 points by means of a straight line, so that this ordinate is going to be 1. Similarly, ILD for RB, it will be like this. Mark 1 at B, mark 0 at A, this ordinate is 1, and this is how the ILD for RB can be drawn. So this is the ILD for RB. Now, the intermediate ordinates for both of these diagrams can be obtained like this. If it is 1, it is going to be 5 by 6 because the total number of panels are 6. This is going to be 4 by 6. It is 3 by 6. It is 2 by 6. It is 1 by 6. Now for ILD for RB, it is 5 by 6. This is 4 by 6. This is 3 by 6. It is 2 by 6 and this one is 1 by 6. So remember, in order to get the ILD for vertical members, draw the ILD for reactions. See, it is a simple method which I am going to discuss. So don't quit in between. Watch this video till the end and you will be benefited because it is the simplest method. Now see, in order to get the ILD for vertical members, I'm going to get the ILD for vertical members in the left part because symmetry is there, and if the ILD for the vertical members in left part are drawn, we can use the same ILDs to draw the ILD for the vertical members in the right part. So I have chosen the vertical members U0, L0, U1, L1, U2, L2 and U3, L3 will be the last member. So let us deal with U0, L0 first. Now again, as per the method of sections, I have considered a section line like this so that it is cutting the vertical member because I want to get the force in this member. So section line I have considered it like this. So this section line is cutting the vertical member U0, L0, that is the required member, as well as it is cutting L0, L1 also. But the salient feature of this member is that it is a horizontal member. As it is a horizontal member, it is going to have a force in it which is going to be horizontal, whereas this vertical member or each and every vertical member will be having a vertical force only. So this horizontal force will not affect the force in this member, isn't it? If means what I want to say is that if I use summation Fy is equal to 0, this force or force in this member will not be there in the equation. So for all these vertical members, in order to get the forces, I am going to use summation Fy is equal to 0. Now remember the procedure for the force or method of sections. I want to get the force in U0, L0. So I have considered a section. Now this force or force in this member U0, L0, in order to get this, I am going to use summation Fy is equal to 0. Now again, summation Fy is to be 0 is equal to 0 is to be applied either to the left part or to the right part. So this section divides the truss into two parts. So this section divides the truss in two parts. One part is to the left of this section, another is to the right of this section. So in the right part RB is there, in the left part RA is there. Now the unit load moves along the bottom chord line. So it is taking different positions. It is taking different positions L0, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 and L6. Now depending upon the positions of this load, when the load is in left part, we deal with the right part. Remember the procedure. When the load is in left part, deal with the right part and get the value of the force from the right part. When the load moves to the right part, deal with the left part and get the value of the force from the left part. So that is what I have done. I have considered two cases, case 1 and case 2. Case 1, the load is in left part. Case 2, the load is in right part. Now when I want to get the force in U0 L0, I will have to consider a section like this. So I have shown this red section line. To get the force in U1 L1, this section line is useful. To get the force in U2 L2, this section line should be considered. So members, I have listed all these members in the first column. I want the force in U0 L0, that is this vertical member, then U1 L1, U2 L2, U3 L3. There are two cases. Case 1, load is in left part. Case 2, load is in right part. Now load in left part, when I am dealing with U0 L0, means this member or this section, left part is the only one load position is there, so I have written it L0. When I deal with U1 L1, I will have to deal with this section which I have shown by means of this pen, and the load positions are L0 L1 to the left. So I have shown the load positions L0 L1 to the left. Now the load positions to the right are remaining load positions, that is L2, L3, L4, L5 and L6. It means when the load is in left part, it can have these two load positions, and when the load is in right part, it can have the remaining load positions. Similarly for this section, again the load positions will be L1, L0, L1, L2, and the right part, the load positions are L3, L4, L5 and L6. Have you got this? So where for every section you will have to decide the load positions in the left part as well as in the right part. So load position in the left part is this one. Load position in the right part are this one. Now when the load is in left part, for this member I am discussing, when the load is in left part, the possible load position is L0. So L0 is the load position. Load is in left part. I will be dealing with the right part. And from the right part, the force in this member, which is a vertical force, which will be equal to RB. RB is an upward force. I am dealing with the right part. When the load is in left part, or when I consider the left part, upward force, I treat it as positive. Whereas for the right part, the upward force is to be treated as negative. So force in this member U0 L0 from the right part will be equal to RB, but it is an upward force, and that is why I am dealing with, or I am using the negative sign. F U0 L0 is equal to minus RB. So for left, when the load is in left part, for every member, whether it is U0 L0, U1 L1, U2 L2, U3 L3, load is in left part. This is the first case. Load positions are like this for these different members. For all these load positions, I will be dealing with the right part, and when I deal with the right part, force in this member is minus RB, force in this member is minus RB, force in this member is also minus RB. So for every load position in left part, the force in the vertical member is given by minus RB. Remember it well. And when the load moves to the right part, so when the load moves to the right part, I deal with the left part, and the force in each member will be given by RA. So have you got this? When the load is in left part, get the value of the force in the vertical member from the reaction RB, but it is to be used as negative. So minus RB, minus RB, minus RB everywhere when the load is in the left part. And when the load moves to the right part, force in each member is given by plus RA. This is what you will have to remember. Now once you bear this in mind, let us see how to use this knowledge to get the force in vertical members. The first member U0 L0. So I am going to get ILD for U0 L0 over here. Now for U0 L0, load position is L0 when the load is in left part, and FU0 L0 is minus RB. So load position is L0 and the force in this member is minus RB, but RB is 0. When load is over here, RB is 0. So I am getting it as 0 over here. Now this is the only position which is in the left part for U0 L0. All other positions are in the right part, that is L1, L2, L3, L4 and L5. So when the load is over here, the load is in right part and we will have to deal with the left part. So left part means we will have to get the values of forces or this force from RA. So when the load is over here, RA is 5 by 6. So I will be marking 5 by 6 over here. When the load is over here, RA is 4 by 6, so it is 4 by 6. Then again 3 by 6. Then it is 2 by 6 and it is 1 by 6. And this is how the ILD for U0 L0 is or can be obtained. Now you tell me how to draw the ILD for U1 L1. Again for U1 L1, two load positions are possible when the load is in left part L0 L1 and the value of force in U1 L1 is given by minus RB. So when the load position is L0, that is over here, RB is equal to 0. So I am going to plot it as 0 over here. So this is the load position 0 or this is the value 0. Now when the load position is L1, this is L1, RB is given by 1 by 6, but I will have to plot it on negative side. So it should be minus 1 by 6, minus 1 by 6. So this is 1 by 6. And then the load moves to the right part, and when it goes to the right part, I will have to get FU1 L1 from RA. So L2 is the load position and RA will be 4 by 6 because I know this value. L2 RA is 4 by 6. So 4 by 6. Once you get these, then you will have to join these. The remaining values can also be known, but I am joining these two directly like this. So this is how the ILD for U1 L1 can be drawn. Now when you want to draw ILD for U2 L2, again a similar procedure can be used. U2 L2, the load is in left part, load positions are L0, L1, L2, FU2 L2 is minus RB. So when the load is at L0, the value of RB is 0. When the load is at L1, value of RB is 1 by 6, but it is to be plotted on negative side. When the load position is L2, it is 2 by 6. So it should be plotted below the baseline. And when the load moves to the right part, the load positions are L3, L4, L5 and L6. So this is how it will be 3 by 6. And this gives you the ILD for U2 L2. So this is the ILD for U2 L2. Now ILD for U3 L3, that is this vertical central member. Now the load is moving along the bottom chord line. So when the load is moving along the bottom chord line, it can have different positions like this. So whatever is the position of this load along the bottom chord line, if I deal with this joint, at this joint there are three members which are meeting. Out of these three, there are two collinear members and one is non-collinear member, and there is no external force or reaction at this joint. And if it is like that, we can say that this member is a zero force member. Remember it well. The type of truss is through type of truss. The load is moving along the bottom chord line. Now this vertical central member is a zero force member for every position of load along the bottom chord panel points. So this is zero load, or there is no force in this member U3 L3, and that is why I have shown it as a zero force member. So this is how you can see that for these left members, or for these vertical members in the left part of the truss, this first vertical member, that is the extreme vertical member, for this member which is U0 L0, the ILD is like this. so which is on the compression side. So this member is always a compression member, whatever is the position of the load. Whereas these two members, that is U1 L1 and U2 L2, you can see that till the load takes this position, that is L1, L0 to L1, it is having a tensile force, and thereafter the force changes, and it goes on compression side, and the maximum compression takes place when the load is at L2. So this is how you can deduce from these diagrams. Now I am going to consider the right side vertical members also, but let me draw the figure first and then I will come back. Now let us consider a deck type of truss. So it is the same truss having the same span. The total span is 6 times L, but the difference is that it is a deck type of truss. In deck type of truss, the load moves along the top chord line, and the load is supposed to take the positions along the top panel points. So let us consider that the load is moving along the top panel points. Now in the previous case, that is in case of through type of truss, the load was moving along the bottom panel points. Now the difference let us see what is the actual difference for between the ILDs for these vertical members. Now whether the load moves along the bottom chord panel points or along the top chord panel points, the ILDs for all the members are going to remain same except the central member. Remember it well. Except the central member, the ILD is going to remain same. Now ILD is going to remain same for vertical members I am telling about. So all the vertical members will have the same ILD as in case of the through type of truss. So let us see the ILD for U0 L0. ILD for U0 L0, we have drawn it. Now it was like this. Now this member is an inclined member. So in ILD for this member, that is vertical member, you will find a cross line which is opposite to this cross. So it is declining, so it will be increasing, or the slope is increasing in this direction. For this member again, now for the second member, this is for U0 L0. For U1 L1, now go to the next inclined member. It is like this. So you will find an inclined line like this over here. Now for this member, you will find an inclined line like this. So in the corresponding span, see, I am repeating, for U0 L0, in the next span you will find this inclined line. For U1 L1, in the next span you will find this inclined line. For U2 L2, in the next span you will find this inclined line with the ordinates. Now this is 0. Now this is going to be 5 by 6. Now for all these vertical members in the left part, for all the vertical members in the left part, you will have to draw the diagram like this. If it is the baseline, it is the baseline. Mark ILD for RA like this. Mark ILD for RB like this. So this is ILD for RB, this is ILD for RA. Usually the ILD of RB is like this. That is on the above side of this baseline. If it is the baseline, RA I have plotted it above, RB I have plotted it below. Actual RB is like, ILD for RB is like this. So I am just inverting this ILD for RB, and this is what I have shown. These are the two inclined lines which I have shown over here by means of faint lines. So this ordinate, it is going to be 5 by 6, which you can see it from the ILD for RA. Now again there are two inclined lines. This inclined line which is faint, you can see that it is for RA, and this line it is for RB. And then I am getting these points as this point, this was 5 by 6, it was for ILD for RA, it is also for RA, ILD for RA, it is 4 by 6. This is for ILD for RB and it is 1 by 6. So this will be the ILD for U1 L1. Now ILD for U2 L2, again you will have to go for this type. Draw ILD for RA on the above side of this base line. So I have drawn it. So suppose this is 1, this ordinate is 1, and for RB I have plotted it below 1. So I have joined these 2 points. So these are 2 parallel lines which are actually the ILDs for RA and RB respectively, with RA drawn on the same side and RB drawn on the opposite side. Now this is the member. I am going for ILD for U2 L2. So go for the next diagonal member. It is like this. So in this span you will find that ILD for U2 L2 will be changing in this manner. This is the shortcut. Now these 2 points are to be joined, and the remaining points for ILD for RB is to be considered. Now this is 5 by 6, this is 4 by 6, it is going to be 3 by 6. Whereas for ILD for RB it is 1 by 6, it was 1 by 6, so it is going to be 2 by 6. Now ILD for U3L3. Now see, as I told you, ILD for all the vertical members in case of the through type of truss, and in case of the deck type of truss going to remain same. Only the exception is this vertical member. In the case of the through type of truss, this vertical member was a zero force member, but here it is not, because the load is moving along the top chord line. So as the load approaches this member, as soon as it enters or it passes this point U2, there will be some force in U3. And as the load comes or exactly appears on the top of U3, it will be having the maximum force, which is equal to the magnitude of that unit load, which is 1. So when the load is over here, when the load appears exactly on the top of this member U3, there will be ordinate 1. And when it is the force in this member starts as soon as this unit load crosses this point, and that is why ILD for U3L3 will be a triangle like this with one ordinate 1 over here. So remember the difference between the through type of truss and deck type of truss. The vertical central member, its ILD is different. So this is the ILD for U3L3. Now for the ILDs of these members, now in the left part we have drawn ILD for these members 1, 2, 3, means U0, L0, U1, L1, U2, L2, by considering these inclined members. Now for the right part we will have to consider these inclined members. Now this member U0, L0 and the member U6, L6 are going to have the same ILDs, with the only difference that this 5 by 6 will get repeated on the other side, and U6, L6 will have the ILD like this. Whereas these two members, now U1, L1, the next member to this one, U1, L1 and U5, L5 are going to have the same ILD, but see the difference. For the left part, for all vertical members, we have drawn the lines like this. But for the right part, so this was for the left part. Now for right part, draw the ILD for RA on opposite side. So mark 1 over here. So this was the ILD for RA above the baseline. Now here I am drawing it below the baseline, and ILD for RB is to be plotted above the baseline. See the difference. When you are in the right part, draw the ILDs in opposite manner as that of for the left hand side. So that is what I have shown, that this line is inclined and one has been considered above the baseline and one has been considered below the baseline for the left part. Now ILD for this member U1, L1 is the member next to U0, L0, U6, L6, next member is U5, L5. So U1, L1 and U5, L5 are going to have the same ILDs. So mark it below, and this will be the ILD. So this is going to be 1 by 6 and this is going to be 4 by 6. So this is U5, L5, and the ILD for U2, L2 and U4, L4 will be same. So ILD for U4, L4, again you will have to, now U4, L4, next span is this one. So here the cross line will take place. So it is like this, so it will be opposite. This is how the ILD for U4 L4 can be drawn. So this is the simple procedure to draw the ILD for the vertical members. Again, you can see that if you compare the members, vertical members in the left part and vertical members in the right part, for the vertical members in the left part, U0 L0, U1 L1, U2 L2, means these members, out of these members U0 L0 is entirely in compression irrespective of the load position. U0 L0 is entirely in compression, and compressive force in U0 L0 is maximum when the load position is either L1 or U1. When the load is moving along the bottom chord line, and when the load is at L1, U0 L0 has the maximum force. Whereas U1 L1 and U2 L2, that is these two vertical members in the left part, these two vertical members, initially for starting some distance, the force in these members is tensile, and thereafter it changes to compressive. So all the vertical members other than the extreme vertical member in the left part, the forces in these members are initially tensile, and then the force changes to compressive. Whereas for the vertical members in the right part, extreme vertical member in on the right hand side, it is entirely in compression, whatever is the load position it is, but the other vertical members are in compression, and thereafter they are the force in them is changing to tensile. So for all the vertical members other than extreme members in the left part, initially the force is tensile, then it changes to compression. For all the vertical members in the right part, other than or except the vertical right hand extreme side member, rest of the members carry the compression initially, and thereafter it changes to tension, provided the load is moving from the left end to the right end. In the next video, I am going to discuss the ILD for inclined members. Thanks.